Radio, music for people behind the wheel.
Hey, how's everybody doing tonight? We're on live in the studio. I'm going to, I know some of you are just watching the graphic there and are live on our Facebook page. I'm trying to get off here now. Right. And let me see if I can get rid of it. There we go. We got rid of it, folks. I got David Fitz in the studio with me. How we doing? We got Jamie Taylor is on the broadcast. Hi, Jamie. Jamie, you are, I knew you'd be here. How you doing, David? I am so excited to talk with you, my friend. I tell you.
Hey, Bruce, it's so great to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
We are going to talk all about you, and I'm sure you're going to talk about everybody else because that's what you do best. So we're going to, hey, Jamie says, hi, guys. How we doing? We're doing awesome, Jamie, because we got the guy in the house finally. we had to block all the highways so he couldn't get away. But
I'm sorry it took so long, brother.
No, that's okay. I just like teasing with you. Because I just hound people till they come on this show. So what we're going to do is we're going to play a song and just let some people come on to our internet, let people know the show is starting. I'm going to play my favorite song from you to this point, David, and that's Internet Radio. Nice. Internet Radio. I'm going to ask you about it when we come back. But I'm going to play that song, right. Let people get going. Paul Bump says, the Fitz man. That's right. You got that right,
Paul. Hi, Paul. How you doing, Paul? Great supporter.
You got some fans, man. You got some fans, and I there is David. My messenger has been going crazy all day. People have been going, what time's it starting? I know that Mike Murchison, who's on the other side of the country, is going, what time's David going to be on? So,
that's so nice, man.
Cleary Brothers
that's so
Music
nice. Mike
says,
is a great songwriter. I'm glad I learned out about Mike through you, and he's just a fabulous writer, man. I hope to work with him.
Oh, he's got some great songs out. Cleary Brothers, Mr. Joe Cleary says, good evening, friend. Hello, David. Hello, Bruce. Kathy Binkley Russell's from Alberta. Hello, Kathy. Thanks for joining us. Love to see you. She's a
Hi, Kathy. Hi, and Joe Cleary. Wow, one of my favorites that I've ever produced in my lifetime. Just a fabulous writer.
Yeah, so they're all in. So let's, I'm going to share this. I only shared it. I don't even know if I shared it. I'm slow on this. I got fat finger syndrome. How can I do that? So, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this for my friends. Joe Cleary says hello. All right, guys, we're going to play Internet Radio by David Fitz. If you are listening on Facebook and you're not sure how else you get this, the best way to listen is through the app, Lead Pedal Media. Go to your device store, either Apple or Google Play. Download the app. You get our radio station. You get our podcast. You get our YouTube channel. That's the best way to listen. If you don't have that, you can. There's a listen link either on Instagram or Facebook in the bio, or you can go to leadpedalradio.com. There's a player right there. So there's many ways you can listen to us. We'll be on for about probably 10 minutes or so on Facebook. Then we'll be signing off there, and the rest of the show will go on through the app. Mr. Bill Senior Newman says, hey, Bruce, always enjoy your show. Oh, well, thank you, Mr. Bill. That's the way to do it, for sure. All right, here's Internet Radio by our friend David Fitz. You want to stick around, man. This is the show to be at tonight. That's right. Here we go. Oh, yeah, Internet Radio. That's right. And we are in the studio with the talented Mr. David Fitz. David, how we doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much. And how are you doing, Bruce?
I'm doing good. Paul Bump says, Sue Lucas says, hello, Joe. Oh, they're talking. Okay, so the fans are talking amongst themselves. Sue Lucas.
That's great.
Sue Lucas says, watching from Virginia. Hey, Sue, how you doing? Paul Bump
Hi,
says,
Sue.
got both Virginias on West Virginia here. Hey, good to see you guys down there.
I love Virginia. I can't wait to get there.
Oh, I know. I was just in Louisville, Kentucky last week, so we saw a bunch of people. For those of you,
well, that's nice. That's where my mother-in-law was from.
Oh, is that right? Oh, okay.
Indeed, it was. Yes, sir.
Louisville's a great place. For those of you in the U.S., you may want to go to the app after this or any other place, leadpedalradio.com, to listen to it. So, like I say, we're only going to be on here. Randy Matthews says Fitz is the best. You know what, David? I don't think we're going to get to hear about you. I'm just reading the comments of your fans. I don't think we're going to get to
love Randy Matthews. He's one of the greatest, too. And same with Jamie Taylor. All the people I work with are just so fantastic, man. I'm very blessed to have met and work with all these people.
Now this is what happened. Jamie came on. Jamie was the first one to send me music, and then your name kept coming up, artist after artist after artist. You got started. You're in Newfoundland now, but you got started in Toronto, right? Like, I'm in Burlington. I'm not that far from where you began. Is that true?
Well, kind of. I was born in Toronto, and of course, my older brother, was a rock star when I was 5 years old. When I was like 4 years old, he used to take me around. Well, he had two girls taking me to all his gigs, and I hung out and watched all the shows. And sometimes the roadies would get me on the stage and sit me behind the drums. I remember at the CNE in front of 10,000 people when I was like 4 years old. They brought me up on the stage, and I kept looking way down at the bass pedal, thinking, wow, I can't reach that pedal. What am I going to do? So I just picked up the sticks and started going nuts on the snare and the toms, and the crowd went nuts, and I haven't stopped since.
Oh, wow. That's
50,
early.
50 odd years later. And my brother was in a band called the Lords of London.
Yes.
You should look them up, and they became Nucleus. And then when he left, they went on to be Foot and Cold Water.
Okay. Yeah, I know those names.
Yeah, they were Canadian classic rock bands, and so I've been doing it a long time. But when I moved home to Newfoundland when I was 5, and started playing bars here when I was 12 years old. My mom and dad went to the Liquor Control Board to sign a permit saying that they give their permission for me to be there only when I'm playing. And one of the guys in the band had to be my guardian because they were all older. They were old men, in their 20s.
Yeah. Now people don't get it. Now people don't bother going to the Liquor Control Board. They just take them to the bar.
Yeah, probably so, but yeah, it's been a long road, and just a lovely life so far. I've been very blessed. I've met a lot of great people, worked with a lot of great people, and I'm still loving every minute of it.
Yeah, so you've always been in music. You've never like driven a truck or done any of those things that the rest of us have had to do. Clean tables.
No, I did bake cookies once in California when I lived there at a bakery for about 6 weeks, but I decided, no, I'm not doing that no more.
Yeah, I wouldn't be good at a cookie bakery. I would eat them all. That'd be my problem.
Well, that was the problem, yeah.
If any of you on the Facebook have anything type it in if you have a question for Joe or for David, and I'll ask them for you. So now you are out in Newfoundland, and what is your role today? What are you doing today? You're helping young artists. You're basically a label. Would that be appropriate to say that way?
No, I'm not a label at all. I'm just a independent recording producer, arranger, multi-instrumentalist, and just have a studio here that I try to help people record and get their songs done so they can get it released to wherever they want to release it. Wow. Some people, I've done 15, I'm working on number 15 compilation CD right now. Okay. And I've done those in the last 5 years. Yeah. Mostly 11 or 12 artists mostly from Newfoundland and Labrador. And mostly amateurs, new time writers that just have a song or want to do something to leave behind for their grandkids or whatever. Yeah. So there's older people, there's younger people, new up and coming artists. And I mean, I get everybody. I take on whoever wants to record, right? And I don't give them a recording test or see how good they are. I listen to their song, of course. And if I think I can make it work for them, I get them in and we do it. And it's been great so far. I've met a lot of great people. Like I say, I met Jamie doing the comp CDs. Yeah. He did a song. Yeah. And the next thing I know, he's doing an album, and the next thing I know, he's got 27 or 29 songs done or something. And I'm like, okay, Jamie, you're soon going to be down to free. If you keep writing, I'm not going to be able to charge you anymore.
Well, he became a songwriting machine, I think, during the pandemic there. And I know he was sending me. He said, "Oh, here, I've got another one from David. It's done. It's once a week." It's like, holy smokes! Oh, I know. Slow down, man.
He gets really inspired, and I'm so proud of him because he is something he just took on, and it's been so good for him. It's. I get so proud when I hear people that I produce on the radio and on these different radio programs. I'm thinking, wow, I remember how it was when I first heard my song 4 decades ago on a radio, and I still get thrilled when I hear it. So I can imagine how thrilled they are.
Yeah. No, and what a gift you're, you know, I don't know if you realize it. I'm sure you do. What a gift you're giving to new artists. You know, I get the same thing here, and I'm not helping them produce a song, but just playing their song, I get people going, "Oh, thank you." Like,
it's such a gift to us. You know, nobody would know who we are without somebody like yourself taking the time to have us on and play our music.
I love it.
Very appreciated.
I love hearing, you know, and so it's great. Kathy Bingley Russell is out in Alberta, and she asked, "Do you have a favorite song?" So we've got other people doing the interview here now, David, which is awesome. I think it's great. So,
that's all fine with me, whatever way it goes. Do I have a favorite song?
That's what she's asking. Yeah.
You mean like of all time? I'm
not sure if she's talking about in general or of your music. I know
it'd be hard to pick one of all time. I'm such a Beatle fan, but yet I'm such a Buddy Holly fan. Like True Love Ways is probably one of my favorite all time songs. Right. And I like a lot of new stuff. You know, I like Lord Isn't Mine. Well, new stuff, old stuff. Lord Isn't Mine by Supertramp. I mean, there's a lot of classic songs, Whiter Shade of Pale. I mean, I could go on forever.
Yeah.
All you need is love. You know, that's probably one of my favorites for sure.
Who inspired you other than your family, your brother? Who inspired what musical genre? Was it the Beatles? You're saying you're a big Beatles fan.
Big time Beatles.
Are they inspired in your music? I'm not sure I hear Beatles in your music. I haven't heard all of your songs because you have so many.
Well, you know, it goes from Beatles to Hank Williams Sr. I mean, Hank Williams was the greatest songwriter to ever live. In country music, Hank was the king for me, and in rock and roll, Buddy Holly was the king for me. Sorry, I love Elvis too, but Buddy was such a great writer. I mean, he died so young, and left us with so many great rock and roll songs. I mean, there really wouldn't be any Beatles probably without Buddy and Elvis, you know.
Right.
So, I mean, but the Beatles took it so much further than everybody in the world, you know, like they were my main influence. Besides my brother, of course, and my uncles and my family, all the Elliots, every one of my cousins and uncles all played music and recorded albums before I was even born. So
wow.
I was kind of born into the music. You know?
What was one of your early? And I don't know. You sent me a number of tracks, so I don't know if any of these are your earlier works. But we're going to come back and talk about how you got started on in the studio and stuff. But one of these which is the next song I should play? I played Internet Radio, which is just my favorite. And I guess because I have an internet radio station.
I got to tell you about Internet Radio if I can briefly.
You had a story, that's right.
Yeah, I recorded that in Nashville, Tennessee. And the piano player who played on that actually played on Alabama's The Closer You Get. He played on Tim McGraw, Don't Take the Girl. He's played with everybody you can think of in the world. Right. And that is the most fabulous piano solo I've ever heard in my life. I was so tickled pink when he played that. And he was laying really back, and I said, "Go ahead, give her, boy, like drive her like you stole her." And finally he let loose and played, and I went, "Yeah, now we're talking." Yeah. But it was such a compliment because the guy I recorded with who owned the studio, Bob Angelo, he worked with Tom T. Hall, Chet Atkins, Susie Boggess, Pam Tillis, Steve Warner, Jody Messina. And, Bob said, "You think I worked with a lot of people? Ask Roger who he's worked with." Roger Morse is the guy's name. So Roger said, "Well, I played with George Jones in Alabama, and I played on a lot of old records," he said, "and some of the newer kids, Martina McBride and Tim McGraw." And I said, "Oh, yeah, well, what do you say we get down to the real work now?" Anyway, we had a laugh, and the next day he come back in to finish off his tracks, and he looked at me, he said, "Dave, I got to ask you something." He said, "Bob tells me you cut all the drums, guitars, and the bass tracks on this stuff." I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "I got to tell you, those are some of the tightest tracks I've ever played on." And I said, "Well, I'm going to have to go out through the back door if I can get my head out through there and have a smoke on that one. Thank you." I could not believe it. What a compliment coming from I said, "Didn't you just tell me you played with so? It was, what a trip that was." But yeah, very proud of that song and how it came out. And so happy that you like it. That's interesting.
One of my favorites. And like I said, I have not heard it because I have featured all of your artist friends on here. I have not featured you. So we're going to, what's the next song I should play out of the ones? Is there one that's kind of your earlier work, or I know I've played Good Old Newfoundland before. I like that one too. You tell me which one. I've got Make It Right, Dear Mary, The Wood Stove, Looking Back. It's all about love.
You know what? The Wood Stove is quite a nice story, and that gives you a little bit of my Pink Floyd influence, along with Pink Floyd cross Celtic.
You want to tell us about the Wood Stove? We'll play that one as we go out. What's the story behind the Wood Stove?
Well, it's my love song to a wood stove. I grew up with a wood stove, and when we were kids, that was our only source of heat for the most part. So our wood stoves were in the kitchen. That's where everybody gathered. That's why there was the kitchen party, because people were warm in the kitchens. And my dad always was up at the crack of dawn to light the wood stove to make sure that we were warm when we got up. He had holes cut in the ceilings so that when we went upstairs to bed, the heat would rise and we would get warm, The wood stove, we made toast on it. It was the greatest tasting toast before we had a toaster. So, I remember a lot of great memories of the wood stove. And oddly enough, I don't have one now. My wife thinks it's too messy, so I said, if you die before me, I'm having one after the funeral.
Well, that's what I like. I'm a city slicker. I was always born in, I was born in Toronto and Brampton and Mississauga and Burlington, so I've always been in the city limits. And every time I've gone to some place that they've have those giant kitchens and the wood stove, I'm always thinking, what a fun. And my wife is from Quebec, and she talks about the days when every Sunday they went in the big kitchen and the card parties and playing music and all that. So I really feel for that. And I would love to have been in that setting as a kid. I was born with a lot of music, but just not in that setting. So it's kind of cool. All right, we're going to play the Wood Stove.
This song was actually written for the first Fables album that I did.
Oh, okay.
And it didn't make the first Fables album, the second Fables album, or the third Fables album. So when my brother and I did our debut album in 2007, we released this on that album.
Oh, wow. Wow. Well, I'm glad it made one of the albums anyway. All right, this is the Wood Stove. This is the Wood Stove. For those of you on Facebook, we're going to sign off of Facebook, but please continue listening. We're coming back with David Fitz right after this. You're listening to Lead Pedal Radio. Thanks, everybody. Enjoy the rest of the show.